You're watching NewsView. And now, from Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, it's NewsView.
Hello and welcome to a NewsView interview. I have a guest tonight for this edition of NewsView, a young actor, John Monday. He's also a musician. And tell me and the viewers a little about yourself, John, if you would.
Sure, I'd love to. My name's John Monday. I'm currently 15 years old. I live in California. I play violin and piano. I've been playing them for about 5 or 6 years now. I volunteer at a equestrian center right now to help out young children, and I teach them how to ride a horse, but also how to be around a horse and the safety, and they have a lot of fun learning how to groom a horse, and they love going on long trail rides, which is a lot of fun. And so that's a little bit about myself. I can expand a little bit more on the music if you'd like me to, but I am very grateful that I get to be part of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how far we can go with this, and thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome, John, and that was my next question. What is your favorite music and your favorite music to play?
Well, for music, I'm currently being trained classically, so classical music like Beethoven, Mozart, Haydn, and all of that. So I'm getting a good glimpse of past music and music theory of how music was actually written and developed, as far as chord progressions and stuff like that. Yeah, so getting a good glimpse of that, and I think it's really helping me to expand more on other types of music I like. And honestly, I can't really choose a favorite genre of music because I like them all.
Gotcha. And one of my favorite kinds of music is actually 1970s and 1980s news or production music. So,
yeah, definitely.
what sport do you like the best?
Sports, let's see. Horseback riding is always a sport. I currently play baseball, so I'm really enjoying that. I've played basketball in the past, and I'm looking forward to going sailing this summer in California, which would be nice. And if I was to choose a favorite sport, it would be very hard for me to choose. But right now, since I'm doing baseball right now, I think I'm going to stick with that one because it's a lot of fun. And it feels great once you've accomplished something and you've caught that fly ball or you hit that ball into the outfield and you made it on base.
I was a shortstop for a while on a team during or after high school myself. So I've had a little experience, but I never really understood baseball fully. But I enjoy some baseball. Now, what about your food? What foods do you like?
Well, I'm actually a vegetarian, so I like lots of foods. I love watermelon for the summer because it's sweet and juicy, and it's a great snack, especially if it's like 90 degrees out. Let's see. Other types of food I love, I really like pizza. Especially if my mom makes it homemade. My mom has some pretty amazing soups that she makes, and she has a really nice pasta recipe that she also makes for me, and I think she's such a great cook that I love getting food made at home, but I also love sandwiches and stuff like that. So I do have a big variety of many things in my life, such as food and sports and music, and I think it's great that I am well-rounded in a lot of areas, but yeah.
Well, that's great. And what can you tell me about animals, as you say on Twitter that you love them, John?
Well, I love animals a lot, and I think this answer will definitely show that. I'm around horses for about 3 days a week, so I get to hang out with them. I get to give them lots of love and attention. I feed them carrots and apples, which they really enjoy, and I also ride them. I currently have 2 dogs and a cat, and in the past, I've had, not all at once, I've had a total of, throughout my whole life, 2 guinea pigs, a hamster, a dwarf hamster actually, 3 bunnies, a toad, and I've had up to 3 dogs at once, but I've had like a total of 5 dogs throughout my whole life. And I think that's about. I've had 5 pet rats.
5 pet rats. Okay, that's
So yeah, I
that's
love all pet
interesting.
animals, and I helped rescue a bird once that was on the side of the road, and it survived. And so yeah, I very much love animals, and I think they're very sweet to be around with. And it's just the greatest feeling when a cat or a dog just comes, lays up on your lap, and just cuddles you and wants to be with you.
Yeah, that's great. And what was moving on to your acting? What was your? Do you have a favorite role as an actor, or who? What other actors like do you admire?
Well, I admire many actors. Johnny Depp is a great actor. I think he's done a phenomenal job in Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm very into that, and I've learned actually Pirates of the Caribbean on the piano, which is nice. And then I learned a lot harder version on the piano, which was what I just performed for my piano teacher's recital. As far as acting, I like a lot of acting. There's different types. I know there's like comedy and drama and stuff like that. I love watching movies, especially dramatic ones, to study the other actors and to just see how they do the acting. And it's a great experience to watch them and learn from them as I am becoming an actor in a more modern world, which is nice. And I do like different types of actors, like Johnny Depp. I could name a few, like Robert Downey Jr. And let's see, there's I think off the top of my head, I usually can like list them all really quickly. But yeah, I definitely like James Bond, which is nice. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with me and the Newsview viewers and audience here. And thanks for coming on. I'd just like to say, have you ever seen The Absent-Minded Professor or anything older classic movies like James Stewart or like Casablanca or something?
I haven't seen Casablanca. I think I might want to see it. But yeah, I do know that you're talking about referring to like The Absent-Minded Professor. So yes.
That's one of my favorites. I also like the Herbie movies, with Gene Jones, the original as Gene Jones, and Andy Griffith, and there's so many that I really have loved over the years. I'm sure you're probably going to continue on with a great career in the future, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, John Monday, for coming on Newsview. I think that's about it for this interview. Would you like to have the last word?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. It's a great experience to be a part of this. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Bye. We'll talk later elsewhere, and maybe you could come on again someday with an update.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye.
And that was John Monday, a young actor in California. And now the news portion of Newsview for tonight for June 21st, 2013. James Gandolfini has died. He died Wednesday at age 51. He was the star of the HBO drama The Sopranos, and an autopsy has revealed they think that he died of a heart attack, I believe. And they say here that they think it's a heart attack anyway. He was known best as Tony Soprano in the television show about mob boss, I forget his name. But according to New York Daily News at nydailynews.com, according to Don Kaplan, Dennis Hamill, Nicole Lynn Pesce, and Daniel Beckman, they say an autopsy on the New Jersey-bred actor whose mafia boss character survived 6 seasons of mob hits and panic attacks on The Sopranos was performed Thursday, probably. And they said, quote, when they got back to the hotel, Jimmy went in to use the restroom, and something happened there. His sister said he was alive when they took him out of the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Quote, unquote, Richardson said, according to Sullivan, a close part of Sopranos actor Tony Sirico. And it was 13-year-old Michael who discovered Gandolfini and called for help. Antonio D'Amore, manager of Boscolo Exidra Hotel, told NBC News. The news floored Gandolfini's friends, fellow actors, and Sopranos co-stars, including Steve Schirripa, who was in a box suite at Yankee Stadium, and word reached him by phone. The cover drained from Schirripa's face, and uncertainty reigned for half an hour as he and other Sopranos cast members like Lorraine Bracco and Steve Van Zandt called each other, desperate for details. Quote, I had to get up and leave, unquote, said Schirripa, who played Tony's brother-in-law, Bobby Barconi, or Baccari, something. Quote, it was like being told a brother had died. Jimmy Gandolfini was a great friend, and he was an actor and a human being, unquote. And in other news, more local news, according to WCIA Television Channel 3, Central Illinois, Southeast Central Illinois, South Central Illinois CBS affiliate WCIA says Dateline Urbana, a local GOP candidate, was called a quote-unquote streetwalker, quote-unquote love child, and quote-unquote Miss Queen. A Central Illinois County Republican Party chairman may be behind it. Jim Allen is the Montgomery County chair. He attacked candidate and former Miss America Erica Harold in an email sent to a Chicago Republican news site. The editor-in-chief posted it, and hours later, it's national news. The Republican News Watch posted a story about how excited they were to see Harold running for the 13th congressional district. Apparently, it didn't sit well with Allen. This was his response, quote, Rodney Davis will win, and the love child of the DNC will be back in Chicago by May, working for some law firm that needs to meet their quota for minority hires. The little queen touts her abstinence. Now Miss Queen is being used like a streetwalker, and her pimps are the Democrat Party. These pimps want something they can't get, unquote. Champaign County Republican Party Chair Habib Habib said he wants people all over the country to get onto social media and defend Harold. Quote, let's do the honorable thing and do the human thing. Let not think politics, just think human. Everybody should say this is a horrible thing. I said he should get down on his knees and repent between him and God, then apologize to Erica, then apologize to us and the rest of the nation, unquote. Allen was listed on the United States Representative Rodney Davis website as a supporter. He has since been removed. WCIA 3 News reached out to Allen for comment, but he did not return their calls, they say. And Harold released a statement through her father saying, quote, the views expressed within Chairman Allen's email have no place within public discourse. These comments, however, only strengthen my resolve to run a positive campaign and reject personal attacks, unquote, said Erica Harold, according to WCIA TV3. And also according to WCIA, a chemical leak forced crews to evacuate businesses near Kimcast Limited in the 1000 block of Lynch Road in Danville. At least 100 kids at a daycare located in the Second Church of Christ were relocated to Life Church on Bauman Avenue. Hazmat and fire officials responded to the scene shortly after 11 a.m. yesterday. Many of the first responders were involved in Wednesday's fire at the J&R Recycling Center in Hoopeston, Illinois, where they had that huge fire. Well, anyway, Channel 3 goes on to say no word on what type of chemical may be involved or if any injuries occurred. They have a crew there, and they are going to update the story at WCIA.com. And about that fire in Hoopeston yesterday, WLFI TV 18 in Lafayette, Indiana, provided some great pictures of huge plumes of smoke, where is that? I'm looking for that. I'm looking for Channel 3. Channel 3 says the EPA is working on the tire fire. Gee, I don't know where that went. The Illinois EPA has stepped in, according to Channel 3 News, in Hoopeston, Illinois, where a giant tire fire occurred. Piles of tires at a recycling business Wednesday morning went up in flames and made thick plumes of smoke over the area. The EPA is asking for a court order to stop operations at J&R, the used tire service, says Channel 3. The EPA says the company underestimated the amount of materials on site and says it didn't have an emergency plan for fire or police departments. The court order could stop all activities on the company's site. And an Urbana, Illinois library board has heard from concerned residents, according to Channel 3 News, that nearly 100 people lined up to speak to the library board Wednesday night. They were concerned about the future of their library and spoke out against the library's weeding procedure, when the workers threw out books older than 10 years old. Deborah Lysak, the board director, recently admitted too many books were thrown out and a mistake was made. Lisa was not present at the meeting. She's on personal leave and did not return any calls, but the board heard from upset local residents for almost 2 hours, and you can see more about that at WCIA.com. And according to IllinoisHomepage.net or WCIA.com, state bridges in Illinois are above the national average, meaning one of 12 bridges in the states but also one of 12 bridges in the state need to be repaired or replaced. A transportation group released a new study finding more than 2,300 bridges in Illinois are structurally deficient. The state has 26,500 bridges. Illinois' 8.7% average was slightly better than the national average of 11%. Illinois came in 15th for best bridges nationwide. By county, Champaign ranked in the top 5. And according to WEEK TV 25 in Peoria, they say AAA Motor Club has released that this July an anticipated decline in holiday travel is wrong, and they project that 40.8 million Americans will journey 50 miles or more from home during Independence Day this year, a 0.8% decrease from 41.1 million people last year. So I read something wrong, I'm sorry. So there's less people on the road, but more people in the skies, I guess. Habitat for Humanity in East Peoria, according to WEEK.com, has celebrated its 100th home. For 37 years, Habitat for Humanity has been changing lives in the Peoria area. On Wednesday, they continued that mission by breaking ground on their 100th home. WEEK TV 25 and Channel 19 at CINewsNow.com or WEEK.com say that Normal, Illinois residents in McLean County are reviewing the final 2 options to a proposed roadway that would run around the east side of Bloomington Normal. Engineers have been studying the East Side Highway project for several years now and have narrowed more than 100 potential routes down to 2. The proposals would connect Interstate 74 near Downs, then cross over Interstate 55 and connect to Zeebarth Road in Normal, Illinois. Project manager Jerry Payunick said this roadway will help with access to projected growth in the area and not act as a bypass. Quote, you'll have easier access to Fort Jesse, GE, Empire, Cheney Grove Road, Cheney's Grove Road, Ireland Grove Road, I-74 and I-55, but it will have very little benefit as a bypass, unquote, said Payonk. Mike Verley lives near the Zeebarth portion of the proposed roadway in Normal, and says, quote, I understand the need for future planning, but as I look at both of the proposals, I'm wondering why they're going to run a parallel road to the current 55 which just added a third lane about 2 years ago, unquote, he said. Project leaders want public input before they submit a prepared route to Federal Highway Administration, the Federal Highway Administration, at the end of next year. No funding is secured for the next phases, including the final design, land acquisition, and construction. This week in Urbana, a city council meeting took a surprise turn when Liz Walden was effectively fired by not being replaced on the list of workers in the city of Urbana by Mayor Pressing. And this prompted a surprise retirement and resignation of Bill DeJarnett. And he said, quote, I am announcing my immediate retirement. First, I would like to apologize to my staff. They are hardworking and loyal to the city of Urbana, and while my decision will come as a shock, it was not without much deliberation, unquote. It goes on to say, he compares what the city of Urbana did to Liz Walden as bullying, and said that we tell our kids we shouldn't bully, but we as adults shouldn't either. So he's saying without fear of repercussion, he says, and law and a strong moral ethic, he has announced his resignation as comptroller of Urbana. And I think that's it. And now your News View weather forecast for June 21st through June 23rd, 2013. Friday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday, mostly sunny skies and a high up there at 91 degrees. Saturday night, warm and 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Sunday, high of 91 again with partly cloudy skies. And Sunday night, 72 for the low under partly cloudy skies yet again. This has been your News View weather for Central Illinois.